How to silence mental chaos using a forgotten samurai method. The mind was never designed to carry this much noise. So many voices, so many demands, so many unfinished thoughts colliding inside your head like debris in a storm. Slowly, quietly, something begins to fracture. Not outside of you, but within. You've felt it before, haven't you? That moment when your body is still, yet your mind refuses to rest. When even the simplest task feels heavy. When a single notification can send your thoughts spiraling into places you never intended to go. If that feels familiar, stay here for a moment. Because in a small apartment overlooking a restless city, a young man named Ren was living inside that storm every day. And what he discovered, an ancient samurai practice known as Seishin Chowa, would quietly change the course of his life. But here's what no one tells you. You don't overcome anxiety by fighting your thoughts. You overcome it by changing how you meet them. The awakening. It was late at night. The glow of Ren's laptop cut through the darkness of his room. Tabs were scattered across the screen like fragments of half-finished intentions. Messages unanswered. Tasks untouched. Thoughts looping endlessly. He told himself he would check just one more thing. 1 became 10. 10 became 30. And 30 dissolved into an hour of frantic searching for something he couldn't even name. His breathing tightened. His thoughts tangled. His heartbeat echoed louder than the room itself. For a moment, it felt like he was standing inside his own collapsing mind. Maybe you felt that too. Ren pressed his palms against his eyes, trying to block out the noise. The light. The pressure. The growing sense that something inside him was slipping out of control. But silence didn't help. It only amplified the chaos. "Why can't I control this?" he whispered. What he didn't yet know was this. Anxiety isn't defeated through force. It's understood through alignment. Ren believed his anxiety was the enemy. He didn't realize it was a signal, a warning, a teacher pointing him toward a different way of living. He didn't know he was standing just one step away from a discipline once used by warriors who faced death with calm minds and steady hands. A discipline called Seishin Chowa. And this restless night was only the beginning. The principle. The days that followed felt like a slow unraveling. Ren told himself he just needed rest. A reset, a weekend away. But each morning, the storm returned before his eyes even opened. He tried to regain control. Lists, promises, deep breaths. Nothing worked. One email would trigger anxiety. One task would feel overwhelming. His thoughts scattered in every direction at once. Not enough to panic, just enough to remind him he wasn't in control. At work, numbers blurred together. Conversations felt distant. His co-workers moved with confidence while his mind dissolved into noise. He nodded through meetings, hoping no one noticed how lost he felt. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't weak. He was overwhelmed. And the world had no patience for that. Nights became unbearable. Exhausted but wired, he lay awake as thoughts replayed themselves on a loop. Money, expectations, failure, the future. Distraction only made it worse. Some nights he paced his apartment. Other nights he sat frozen on the edge of his bed, too tired to move, too anxious to rest. Slowly, his world shrank. Friends faded away. Messages went unanswered. Not because he didn't care, but because he didn't know how to explain what was happening inside him. Then came the breaking point. One crowded afternoon on a subway train, the noise became unbearable. A ringtone cut through the air. Someone brushed past him. Conversations overlapped with the screech of metal on rail. His breath caught. His vision blurred. His heart slammed against his chest. He grabbed a pole to steady himself, hands shaking, certain he was about to collapse in front of strangers who would never know his name. When the train stopped, he stumbled out and sat on a cold bench, head in his hands. That was when the truth finally surfaced. He wasn't just stressed. He wasn't just tired. His mind had become a battlefield. And for the first time, he admitted it. He couldn't keep living like this. The encounter, 3 days later, wandering aimlessly through the quieter streets of the city, Ren noticed something he'd never seen before. A small wooden sign hanging above an old doorway. The lettering was worn, hand-carved, almost forgotten. He stepped inside. The air felt different. Still, grounded. An older man swept the floor with slow, deliberate movements, as if every motion carried intention. "You're carrying too much noise," the man said calmly. Ren froze. He hadn't spoken. The man introduced himself as Hayato and poured 2 cups of tea. He breathed in deeply before speaking again. "Seishin Chowa," he said softly. "Harmony of spirit." Ren frowned. "It sounds peaceful." Hayato shook his head. "It is not peace, it is alignment. A warrior cannot rely on peace. He must find clarity inside chaos." He told Ren of an ancient discipline once practiced by samurai before battle, a way to prevent fear and intrusive thoughts from overwhelming the mind. "The greatest victory," Hayato said, "is mastery over oneself." For the first time in months, something inside Ren shifted. The next morning, he returned. The training begins. The lessons were simple, almost disappointingly so. Sit, breathe, observe without reacting. And yet, it was the hardest thing Ren had ever done. His thoughts exploded the moment he closed his eyes. Worries, regrets, futures that hadn't happened yet. His body tensed. His breath quickened. "I can't stop thinking," he admitted. "You're not here to stop thinking," Hayato replied. "You're here to stop chasing." Day after day, Ren practiced. 5 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of attention, 1 moment of stillness before action. Progress was slow, invisible, frustrating. But something subtle began to change. He noticed his reactions before they happened. He felt space between stimulus and response. He began to pause, and that pause changed everything. The test 1 month later, the pressure returned. Deadlines stacked, stress mounted. The familiar panic crept back in. For a moment, Ren thought he had failed, but then he remembered. He breathed, he slowed. He didn't fight the noise. He let it pass. At the dojo, Hayato placed a bowl of water on the floor and tapped it gently. Ripples spread across the surface. "This is your mind," he said. Then he held his hand above it, blocking the light. The water stilled. "This is Seishin Chowa." For the first time, Ren understood. The world doesn't have to be quiet for the mind to be calm. The transformation, the change didn't arrive dramatically. It arrived quietly. Ren slept better. His breath slowed. His thoughts no longer ruled him. He paused before reacting. He focused on one thing at a time. He learned to name emotions instead of being consumed by them. Weeks turned into months. People noticed. "You seem different," they said. And they were right. One night, standing by the same window where he once felt trapped, Ren realized something profound. The city hadn't changed. He had. The final truth. Seishin Chowa did not remove chaos from Ren's life. It gave him a center that chaos could not touch. He no longer fought his mind. He walked with it. He no longer feared his thoughts. He understood them. And in that understanding, he found freedom. Because the truth is this: you don't need silence to find peace. You need alignment. The world will always be loud. The mind will always wander. But within you, there is a still point, a place that remains untouched. That is where clarity lives. That is where strength is born. And when you learn to stand there, you no longer fear the storm. You become steady within it.